Good morning. It's Jean with Captain Stitches, and it is my morning stitch. Welcome, everyone. It's great to be back. Hello, Polly. Thank you very much. And Nancy at our treasured home. Hello, good morning. Good morning, Sarah. It's so great to see you again. Yes, so I'm just sitting here in my little stitching corner and I will be ready to stitch soon. But first, let's see who pops on and I'll welcome you all. Hello, Katie with Katie. I am going to be working on my December slow stitch challenge project while I chat with you this morning. And of course, I have it on my little lap app, so it's easy to work on. But how are all of you this morning? It's a little chilly here in Ohio this morning. But and next to me, I hope I don't tip it off, but in this little container, I'm going to take that before I tip it to show you. It's got all my beads in it. Is all the threads and embellishments and things in here that I can choose from to add to my slow stitching project as I go along. And this little container has a bunch of different beads in it for me to use, which I'm using tiny little pearls right now in that sky. Well, it looks like sky, so it looks like, the trees in front of the window, but that's what I'm working on right now on there. So you don't see. I love the red you are wearing. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's still a little chilly out here yet this morning. I had just my sweater on and I had to go in and grab my jacket until it gets a chance to warm up in here again. But thank you, Katie. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start continuing on to add my little pearls randomly on here. Sometimes they don't want to catch on my needle. Okay, get one where I can find the little hole in it. I just reach in with my needle and pick it up on there and then bring it down to my stitching. That is how I do it. Good morning, Mary from Minnesota. That's is my home state. Well, used to be my home state. I'm in Ohio now, but I grew up in Minnesota. Oh, thank you, Mary. I've missed you. You're all too kind. And Lorraine, good morning. It is great to know that I've been missed. I was a little nervous about coming on this morning, but you guys are making me feel great. So thank you. And I am just going to continue to. Good morning, Donna. I'm glad to be back as well. Thank you very much. What have you all been working on while I was gone? Hey, there is Patty from Yo Patty G. Good morning. Yeah, it's warm and cozy this morning. It's still, I turned the heat down in here in the evening, so it takes a while to heat it back up in the mornings when I come out. So I had to go back in and grab my jacket this morning until it gets a little bit warmer in here, which I'm always cold, so that could take a little bit, but it is warm and cozy in my corner though. And I have my little miniature Christmas tree here. I'll see if I can raise this up just a minute so you can a little bit of Christmas out here with me as well. Good morning. Welcome, Kathy. I like that. Hi, roomies. Patty G says. But thank you. I've had that little primitive tree for I don't know how long, but it comes in handy for little areas to decorate and bring a little cheer to. So it worked just great out here in the cottage. I do have some stitching, sewing, quilting related ornaments that I usually put in on there, but I'm not sure exactly where they are, and I didn't want to bother Bob for him to go looking for them for me. So I just got what I could find, and then I purchased a few little miniature ornaments this year for it. Had to see if there was a different Nancy that I missed. Okay, come on. Randomly picking those up to add to the where the dots are. There's little tiny dots. I'm sure you could see them on this fabric, so I'm randomly adding the pearls on some of those dots, and at the same time that will tack down the fabric that is on here. I think we'll add one right in the middle of that snowflake. But this is the kind of stitching that I love to sit back and do, because it really doesn't take much thinking at all. What I say is I just let it talk to me. Tell me what it wants. Some people think that's crazy, but hey, I think all of us quilters and stitchers know that yes, our fabric and our projects do speak to us. They kind of let us know what they need here and there. So, good morning, Christine. Welcome. Great to see you here with me this morning. But so yeah, I just kind of let it talk to me and tell me what it wants. Sometimes I tell it what I want, but it works both ways. I call it getting in touch with your stitching. And of course, when you're doing it all by hand, you're definitely getting in touch with it. But it's very relaxing, very therapeutic. If you do embroidery and you've never tried slow stitching, I encourage you. In fact, I'll go ahead and challenge you to give it a try. Just pick up some of your scraps. All I've got it on right now. See the back, how messy that is for now? But it's just on a piece of batting and laying the scraps down on it, and then picking out things and choosing to embellish and put on there, which the tree is all made out of strips of fabric also. And then you just kind of start stitching however you want. There is no pattern. There is no plan to start out with. Of course, you plan a little bit as you go, but you can change it and do whatever you want to make it totally your creation out of little bits and pieces. It's fun to find antique laces and doilies and stuff like that, and buttons to have on hand when you're working on these type of projects. Mary says she admires hand stitchers. It's not relaxing to you. I hear a lot of that. but it can become very relaxing once you just play with it. Don't worry about it. There's no rhyme. It doesn't have to be any rhyme or reason, or there's no rules. Just let it be yours and let it be your own creation. And that's how it becomes relaxing. And because I don't have to follow a pattern, don't have to, whoops, did we just get a knot in the thread? Nope, just tangle. Don't have to worry about making those points, be exact, or following a 1/4 inch perfect seam allowance. It's just going along and adding and doing whatever you want. Oops. And trying not to knock your stuff over while you're working on it. So I usually have this on my table, but I didn't want to keep reaching across for that while I was working on it. So it's in a precarious position on my chair next to me instead this morning. On here than what I was thinking it would, but isn't that always the case? Things always take a little bit longer than what you thought. So I don't think I was trying to see, I asked the question earlier. I don't see any replies to that on what you all have been working on the last few weeks that I haven't been here. Christine says she is threading multiple needles. Made it much more enjoyable for me. Yes, that was a tip that I gave. You go ahead and you are using, the same thread or floss or whatever you are doing with your hand stitching, and it's going to be using the same one. Threading multiple needles ahead of time instead of having to stop and thread one every time you run out makes it more enjoyable. You get to keep on stitching longer that way instead of having to rethread your needle all the time. Adding to that tip, also another thing that I do for my quilting is I thread about 12 to 15 bobbins at a time for my sewing machine also, so that I don't have to keep stopping every time the bobbin runs out to wind another bobbin. I have several because I use the same thread in my bobbin all the time for my quilting. Very rarely do I ever change it. If I have to do some top stitching or something, then I would change it. But I always use the same gray. It's a light gray. It's Aurifil, is what I use for my sewing machine bobbins. So I keep several of them always wound. And Christine is, oops, wait a minute. It went a little faster. Katie says she has been making mini Christmas tree wall hangings for presents. Ooh, that sounds exciting. I bet they're cute, Katie. And Nancy says she is sewing and crocheting. And Christine also says she is sewing memory bears, binding a quilt for her cousin, and going to the post office to mail it. The baby is 2 years old. Well, that's okay. It's never too late. Never too late. Just like, the wedding gift is, whoops, that's funny. I got to looking at you and I don't know if any of you noticed, but I was supposed to be putting a bead on there and I just went through with the thread with no bead on it. That's funny. I know. How is your snowman coming along? Christine asked Kathy. And June says she has been cleaning and rearranging her sewing room. And that reminds me, I have been doing a lot of reorganizing and changing a few things around in my stitching cottage also. Also, I purchased those two beads are stuck together. I purchased a couple more cubby organizers and added to them, so I have more areas to put all my ongoing UFOs and whips, whatever you like to call them. But yeah, so I've been working on that also. June. It's always exciting. I love to be organized. Evidently because I'm always reorganizing my organization, as I put it. I like when things have a place and are put away in their place. Kathy is working on Christmas diamond art. Diamond art is something I have not done, and I will say I am not going to do because I do not need any other projects, any new things in my life right now. I have way too much. As I say, I have enough projects for a dozen women to retire on and not be able to finish in our lifetimes. And there's Gladys. Good morning, Gladys. Great to see you. I'm getting closer to being done with the beading on here. As sorry. My beads are jumping away from me. I can't get it right now. Well, one of them's going to pop up here soon. There we go. As I precariously have that on top as I brought it up. If you're ever sewing beads on, the tip for putting those on is you try to make your stitch from where you come up and go down the width of the bead. That's the trick to that, and having it lay right. I think I stitched myself into a corner here. Let me see if I can pop back down here. I'm going to be running out of threads pretty soon. So, does everyone have their homes decorated beautifully for Christmas? We had to make a stop at Lowe's early this morning to get a power switch for our electric fireplace that we have went out, and they happened to have it. So we stopped in there, which we were in there the other day looking at electrical fireplaces, thinking we were going to have to replace the one that we have. Christine says nope, on her home is not decorated, and June says her tree is up. But and speaking of trees, which that's what I was going to say about Lowe's, they had, and I should have just gone ahead and gotten it when I saw it, but they had a beautiful artificial tree. And remember the lights that we used to put on the outside of our homes to decorate back in the 50s, 60s, early 70s, and the lights that we had on the trees then, the bigger, I don't know, they were, narrow bulb shaped, kind of like my hand there. But anyhow, they had an artificial tree with the old fashioned bulbs on it. And I just loved that tree. So when we went this morning, my husband was headed back to where he needed to get the switch. He said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to go look at my tree." And he just shook his head, yes. Well, they didn't have it any longer. I was so disappointed. I thought, oh no, because I decided if they still had it, because it was marked down, I was going to purchase it. But I guess somebody else had the same idea and they no longer had it. Kathy says her snowman is coming along. She's having so much fun doing it. Great. And Christine says her hubby has a small stuffed tree hanging from his lamp switch. Too much on your plate, and you gave yourself permission to skip. All right. Nothing wrong with that at all. I went several years in a row without putting a tree up. And Nancy says her tree is up and decorated, and some presents are under the tree. That's awesome. There won't be any presents underneath our tree. And June says she has a fiber optic tree, so it lights up and changing colors. So pretty. Yes, we were just talking about that earlier this morning. June, my husband, had one of those he used to set on the table next to his chair, and he was asking, I wonder what happened to my tree. And I said, you mean the fiber optic one? And he said, yes. I said, I don't know. I said, either it quit working or it's wherever you stored it after the last Christmas it was used. So not sure where it may be or whether we still have it or not. If we do, it's probably up in the attic, and I don't think either one of us are going to get up there. So it will remain a mystery. Why is it you get almost done and you run out of thread? It's like I maybe have, six left to put on here, and I'm not going to have enough thread. Can't catch this little one. So we'll try this one that popped over here instead. Oh, don't turn. There, we got it. Christine says that she contributed her fiber optic to the Charlie Brown Christmas play. Well used, yeah. And Gladys says she has one Christmas table runner put on. That is, I can't see behind that heart, but it says the decorations for me. Well, that works too, Gladys. We did pick something other than just the switch for the fireplace while we were at Lowe's. We got some new furniture, I guess a week or two ago, and I don't like the lamps that I have anymore with it, so I noticed a nice looking floor lamp, and I showed it to my husband. I said, isn't that neat? And he says, yes, it is. So I said, do you like it? He says, yeah. So I called the guy over and I said, we need 2 of those. Husband didn't say anything. He just kind of looked at me and put him in the cart, and to the register we went, paid for his switch and my 2 lamps, and loaded them in the car, and I put his up and together. I haven't put the other one together yet, but I will do that later. It took enough to do the one, so but I think that's funny how I just kind of randomly make those purchases now. Never used to be able to do that, but as we get older, it's like, well, we might as well and spend some of our money and get the things that we enjoy while we can. That's the way I look at it. It's something we've been wanting and it's going to make us happy and it's within reason. Go ahead and get it and be happy. Oh, I gotta remember where I put my needle. And where's my needle threader? You're all being so quiet as I play with my... It's going back and forth on each side of the needle this morning. Okay, there we go. It's always fun to thread a needle on during a live video. Something's going to go wrong, as the saying is. It will go wrong while you're live. There we are. But I've gotten that whole other side. So it's been a productive stitch and chat this morning. Oops, we lost that bead on my lap. I guess we wanted to do this one instead. I don't know where that one went. I'll find it when I get up. Oh, do you see what I just did, though? That's all right. We're going to leave it on there and come through the back, and I will take it off later because I forgot to put the needle through the fabric first. It's okay. We can have one purl on the back of the fabric. It just means that knot will really stay there. What does that say? It says, how did you get it? How did you get the thread to knot? Well, since I did that wrong, I'll go ahead and cut that. And I will show you, Christine. It's called a quilter's knot. See, I guess there was a reason that I put that bead on wrong. So I could show you how I knot my thread. Catch that bead. All I did is after you thread the needle and you pull your one end down a little, you take your other end, and I've got the needle in this hand, bring it up as close as I can, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to lay it right over the top of my needle. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to hold it with my thumb and my finger. I'm going to wrap the thread around my needle twice, pinch it between there, and just slowly slide it all the way down to the end. And you end up with a, perfect little knot. And that is called a quilter's knot. Hopefully you were able to see how I did that. Now, now I was just going to do the same thing again. No. Put the bead on first, Jean. So isn't it awesome? I always say it's great to learn something new that will hopefully make doing your knot when you're hand stitching easier. I don't know. I guess it's just practice and doing it a lot of times over and over, Christine. It's kind of just making sure you don't try to pull it, too fast down there as you thread it. But good morning, Beverly. great to see you. I've been on here about an hour. No, is it only a half an hour? Oh my goodness. I looked up, I thought it was going on an hour. It's only been a half an hour. But I'm gonna stop this here because I've got another needle, and I'm going to be using the red next, so I'll show you that again. Oops. And you maybe will be able to, maybe the red thread will even show up better. And I'll thread another one for you, Christine, or anybody else that is interested in that. Oops. Hopefully my new glasses come soon so I can see better. Okay. So here again, you've got your needle threaded and you've got the part pulled down there. You're going to take the longer, whoops, which I got it pretty long this time, but I know I'm going to have a bit stitching. You're going to take that other end. So you've got the needle in the one hand, you've got the end of your thread at the other. Go ahead and turn your needle straight across. I'm trying to get it in there. You can see it there. You're just going to place the thread right on top of the needle. Go ahead, pinch it with your thumb and finger. Go around the needle twice. Bring that down, hold it right between there, and then you're going to take your needle and slowly just pull, which I can see that my thread right, you can't see in my hands, getting a little tangled there. I'm going to get that tangle out before I get down there because that would cause it to be a problem. But I'm just going, and you end up with the little knot right at the end. I think what controls that, Christine, as I did that again, is the amount of how you lay your thread on top of your needle here. If you were to hold it up here instead of back there, you'd end up with a longer tail. But it just slides right on down. Just go ahead and give it a try a couple times, and you'll be amazed at how easy that quilter's knot is. And how much you will use it in a lot of things once you learn it. And I think I have, let me look. I think I have enough. Well, we'll add one right down here. One more. That's why I said it just kind of, you just kind of let your project tell you what it wants. Like I said, and when I looked at it, I thought, no, maybe we need another one right down there. Okay, so that's all done. Just go ahead and knot your thread on the back, which I should have grabbed. I don't think it's, if it's not close enough by. I should have grabbed the one from the previous month that is the same size of this, and I could have shown you how you don't see the back of that, by the way. You put them together once you're finished. But I can always show you that at a different time. But there I now have all the beads added to that top part. And what I'm going to do, I believe, on the star from the antique vintage doily that I put up there, right here where they all divide there, I've got some silver. Oh, I don't know that I want to put that to sew those on. So let me see. I was thinking I was going to use the silver metallic thread, but it won't show up anyway. But I've got some clear. You won't be able to see it. I have some clear beads that I was thinking of using, but I might have to go back and see if I have some silver ones. But that's my idea that I'm going to add up there. And I just need to do some, you don't know yet, but I have to do some stitching in the red portion on there yet. Since I went ahead and threaded that needle, I think that may be what I will do. Which down in this bottom fabric, can you see the, oh, hold it still and let it focus, Jean. See the kind of branches with the little leaves on there? I think I'm going to go ahead and stitch along those and do some lazy daisy stitches on there, which I'm just going to do a stem stitch down the length of those for the, looks like the branches type things. And when I get to where the other parts are, that's when I will add the lazy daisies where the leaves are to embellish it. I guess I'm forgetting that I'm supposed to be talking too. There's Danielle with Danielle's Stitchery and Karen. Hello, Karen. Welcome. I've just been working on my December slow stitch challenge project. I added a bunch of the pearls on the top, and now I'm just going to do a lazy daisy stitch down here on the pattern that's in this red fabric, and yeah, stem stitch and then lazy daisy for where the leaves are on the end of that to add embellishment and tack it down more. Add some interest to that fabric. And there's some stars also in that. So now I'm down to where, almost went through my, to where now I'm to where I can do 3 of the lazy daisy stitches. And then I can show you how that's going to look. Popping on with us. Is everyone ready for Christmas? I have nothing to get ready for, so I guess I am ready. We have no family in the area, no family close by. So it will be a quiet Christmas again for us. I did go ahead and put our small tree up this year, though. I haven't put a tree up in the last few years, but I just felt like putting one up this year. So I did. Oh, that's okay, Danielle. It's just my one son lives in Wyoming. The other one lives in Oklahoma. Both my sisters live in Minnesota, and I have a brother in Florida and a brother in Colorado. So nobody close by. 2 years ago, my oldest son, Josh, and my two grandchildren and my daughter-in-law did come between Christmas and New Year's. And it had actually been 7 years before that since we had seen them. So, yeah. I am well, you never get used to, but yeah. It's just always the two of us on the holidays and any other time. And Terry says, for the first time, I started cutting out hexies from scrap fabric and hand sewing. Yay, Terry! That's funny, though. All the well, I do them by hand, but I don't use the papers. I piece them totally by hand, just as you would piece a quilt block if you were doing it by hand. Okay. I am working on, and I'll hold it up here in just a second again. I had to get my thread back down there. Oops. I am working on, put my needle in there. This is my December slow stitch challenge project. So I've got kind of a primitive little tree going on here, which I used scraps of all different fabrics. I beaded a garland going across it there. This is a piece of ribbon. This is a piece of lace. This I cut out from the center part of a vintage doily. When I cut it out, this section down here is what was left. And I looked at that and I thought, oh, that looks like it could be a tree skirt. So I put it down there for the tree skirt. These are supposed to be a couple packages underneath the tree. And I just added all the pearls there in that sky fabric that is behind the tree. So that is what I am working on. Thank you. Bob is doing okay. Terry, thank you for asking. We're both doing okay. We have good days and bad days. It is what it is, but we're okay. Thank you. Okay. Mary says, we are a spread out family too. Not possible to all be in one place. No. Makes it difficult. Thank you. So before I pick that up wrong and come through over to the wrong side of the fabric, I've got 3 lazy daisy stitches to do down here on the bottom of this, and then I will see if that red shows up for you to be able to see what I'm doing down here on because the pattern in the fabric kind of gave me the idea for that, because it's got the branch and the leaves already on it. So it it adds in a way of being able to embellish some of the red fabric on here. Which, as I mentioned, when I'm doing these, I have no plan in advance. I just look at it and decide, okay, what to do as I go along. And it will be part of a book just to display and look through when I am finished with it. I've already done last month's, and it will go on the back of this, so it'll be November and then December to flip and see together. But I don't know if you can see. I can't even see where it is. There, that little stitching right there is what I just did. But I'm just following along on the fabric, what's in it. It has the little branch with the leaves coming down off of it on there, so I'm just following along on some of that and stitching it with a stem stitch and a lazy daisy stitch. Hopefully I'll finish this project today. Next to me, I also have the, if you saw my video that I posted yesterday for the week in review, which of course was more than a week, but I'm going to set that down so I can just, move this out of there so I don't tip it over. That was more than a week, of course, but I was showing some of the things that I've been working on the last several weeks. And one of them is, it's called a chunky star stitch blanket. It's a crocheted Afghan that I'll be putting on either one of the chairs or the couch in our living room. And it's off to the side. My goal is to have that finished on Wednesday, I hope. So working on that, and hopefully I'll finish this today. I have some prepping to do for a quilt using charm squares that I'm going to do for charity, and that is what I plan on working on during my my live on, I believe it is on for old time that I used, but I will be doing that more as a demonstration and showing what I'm working on. So that's what the plan is for Friday. But you will be able to see some of the things that I was working on. If you haven't already, you can view my week in review video from yesterday. Catching up on here. Terry says she's learning to slow down and enjoy just taking your time with your projects. Prone to getting things done quickly, often for no reason at all. I understand that, Terry. Oh, thank you. And Mary says, has anyone here been watching the quilters that shared fat quarters and made quilts to give away? The Days of Quiltmas on YouTube. I haven't. I saw that and kind of knew about it, I think, but I haven't had time to actually watch them. I will have to go back and catch some of those. Okay, yeah, that's Donna and Ian and Danielle, aren't you? I'm wondering. I'm not sure. Were you in part of that? Oh, I can't think of who else. Oh, the names are leaving me now, but oh, okay. Okay, thank you, Kathy. Take care. See you. Have fun on your diamond art and your snowman. Enjoy. And it is almost an hour, so I think we will go ahead I'm at a stopping point on what I was working on. So I think we will go ahead and wrap up. Thank you all for joining me this morning. It's been awesome seeing you all. And hopefully, I will be able to stay on somewhat of a schedule. No promises being made, but my lives should be on Mondays and Fridays, and I will always have my weekend review on Sunday. That is not a live. That is a video, pre-recorded video, and I am thinking about doing something again with my tip demos. Not sure it's going to be on Tuesday or what day, but doing those videos also again. And of course, there are going to be some great new things planned for the new year. So you'll just have to stay tuned and watch for information and that as I let everyone know about those things that are going to be happening. But thank you once again, everyone. It's great to be back with you. Enjoy. Have a very blessed week. And hopefully, I'll see some of you again later on. Bye bye. Take care, everyone.